Hello, I'm Locum23, and you're joining me for the review of Afterlife Season 2. Before we dive into details, spoilers, comparables, and things like that, I want to give strong emphasis and encourage you to go watch Season 1 and 2 if you have not already. Um, Long story short, it is a roller coaster of emotions, a Rubik's Cube of complexity. It's just something that I encourage you to go watch. So right there, that should already tell you what I feel about this, but let's go ahead and dive into this. I had watched season 1 and 2 within this past week. Within the past hour or so, I finished the finale of season 2, and while it's fresh in my mind, and also as a person who has suffered pain of loss from someone that I considered true love, a soulmate, I felt the need to sit down and talk about this and really give it a review and hopefully give some, I don't know, thoughts from what I see from the series versus comparably to what I've gone through. So let's go ahead and dive into this. It's going to be uncut on Raw. Let's go. First of all, Rubik's Cube of complexity, emotions, I can't emphasize that enough. For me, you will laugh, you will tear up, you will cry, you will laugh again. It's really a series that, even the dullest of moments were things that I wanted to pay attention to. So, this is a person that suffered a pain of loss, that his wife died of cancer. His support system was there through the brother of his spouse that passed. And they worked together, and he just wanted to make sure that he was all right because he knew that he tried to take his life, and then he was very depressed, suicidal, etc. So the show starts off showing he's already got a support system. It shows he's got work and colleagues. It shows he's kind of a prick at times, and he's kind of has this, thickness about him. But yet, it shows almost immediately that he has this warm teddy bear, soft side of him. But it's something that's rare, and it's also something that will be coaxed out because he's a damaged individual. And when he sees someone else unhappy, or they're damaged too, he will go out of his way to try and help them, to encourage them, or find out more about them. So, that is all throughout season 1. I felt like I'm glad that I waited, because had I watched season 1 and been like, oh boy, I have to wait for season 2, I felt like the end of season 1, it just was too. And again, this is from my own personal opinion. It was just too good to be true. I mean, he just, everything was going good for him, and it was like, wow, okay. And then I'm glad that there was a season 2 to follow up, like for me to sit and watch immediately after, because it showed that it wasn't as good as can be. It showed that, there was no, oh my god, how can I put this? Almost everything has to have a happy ending. And it shows, it typically is wham, bam, done, print, done, and everyone likes those good things for Hollywood, but then we look at it everyday lives, and it's like, no, that's not how this works in real life. So to come back to season 2 and show that the complexity was still there, to show that, while it had ended on a good note, the massive undertones and the massive story was still there, especially on this Groundhog Day. That's going and repeating itself. And he loves his wife. He wants to help people. He's trying to find his Zen place. Trust me. Ooh, boy, I know that all too well. You love someone, and you want to be with them, and they're gone. And you want them back. You can't have them back. The universe, whatever reason, and this is how I look at it, is they were too good to be true, and were taken from us because maybe we didn't deserve them, or maybe the universe is a cruel mistress or mister. Whatever it is, it's just weird. It really is. Man, it really is, and sometimes I feel like the universe played a cruel joke on me for taking someone that I cared immensely about and was there for me. Delves a little bit more into how his wife was. Um, here she was supporting him, and he talked about this, is the fact that here she was dying of cancer, sitting there on, for instance, one of the clips was a couch, and he just broke down, and he's like, "You're so beautiful," and he started crying, and she rushed over to him, and you could tell the heartbreak was there. Um, for me, I never got that. It was over in a flash, in a sentence. It was, you never got to see her die. You never got to be with her for her final moments. And nor was there recordings that she left behind for encouraging you to keep going. So in a way, this gentleman was very much lucky versus what I went through. Much colder embrace in life. He talked about his father, he talked about his mother, he talked about his childhood. Very happy. So even though he was raised in happiness, which is a complete polar opposite from what I was raised in, very abusive home, was abused in every single way possible, never saw my father, never really was around my mother because she was always gone. I was raised by my two grandparents, so his life, again, grief and all these things, I mean, even when you have the same exact storyline, one thing or another can go completely different and send you in a completely different direction. It continues to push the grief thing. And grief, that's why they call some people grief stricken. And you look at, I saw something on the news just, I think it was yesterday, where there was a couple that were married, both are elderly, both got, the thing that's going around the world right now, both died within a couple hours of one another. It sucks they had to die to begin with because of this whole issue. But at least they got to go together. At least they got to be there with one another in their final moments for one another. And I'm sure for whoever went second, every minute after losing the other person was, I can only say this based on my experience, every second after that person is gone is agonizing hell. And you want, you need to go. And you do. You do. For me, it's a Russian roulette every day for what's wrong with me and my health? Will it take me? Or will that final string, which is comparable to this series, will that final string snap? And will it take you? For him, the struggle is a constant thing, and I don't think a lot of people understand that. Again, without the pain of loss, without feeling like you truly lost someone that you truly love, you'll never understand that. You will understand close to that. Like, if you lose a mother, a child, a son, a daughter, things like that. But to lose someone, I mean, it's tough. So in the series, in a way, the dog is the child between the two. And during his attempts to join his wife, the child, the dog in this case, will whine and bark and will typically pull him out of that. And he even joked around in it in season 1 about, the reason why I couldn't do it is because of the way the dog was looking at me. And it was just a morbid sense of humor, but yet probably 110% honest the way it was portrayed and the way it was answered. And it was something that for me, I could feel. For me, me personally, I am around because of my two special needs brothers. I raise them, I take care of them as if they're my own children, because I don't have any children. I have not been blessed to have any, yet. This is another thing in the story, is you want, part of it is you want to have them back, right? But you know you can't. That's not how life works. So you go and you hope that you can at least find someone to fill that void. And you hope. At the same time, it can feel as if though you're cheating on the person, but yet for me and him, you know, she left videos and saying, keep going on and be happy and don't give up and whatnot, and don't be a whiny, dingy, whatnot. And they were just two peas in a pod when you are like that together. And for me, she would want me to be happy. She wanted me to be happy. She knew the things I was going through. She knew the things I had gone through. And she wanted me to be happy. So I take her sentiments and I go, I don't think she would want me to sit here and be alone and be miserable and be a whiny, dingy, insert whatever, myself, for me and my perspective. And that's how these people make you feel. For those of you who have never been lucky enough to have that one true person that has ever made you feel that way, they give you this feeling of they want you to be unconditionally happy, that every single small moment together is just perfect. It's enjoyable. It's just amazing. So you can see he's battling. He's still battling. And he wants this girl to be his Groundhog Day partner. Kind of like the Groundhog Day movie, and just I enjoy your company, I enjoy you speaking with you, I enjoy you spending time with you. And to her, that wasn't enough. And I don't think she was understanding it enough. I think she was thinking, and she even said, I don't want to be the other woman. I don't want to, in a way, play second fiddle. And I understand that. But at the same time, she, as the season 2 went on, which felt very short to me, and I wish it would have been a little bit longer, a little bit more detailed, but yet I felt like when I look at it, as much as I wanted that, it felt right. And even if there is no season 3, which I kind of hope there is, but if there isn't, I feel like it was a perfect send-off. In a way. So I want to get to another morbid part is, again, that string, that final string at the end of at the end of the finale. He lost his dad. His dad died, and he puts on this shell, and here he is standing there. The funeral. He's got his tux on. He's got this facade. He's wearing this mask of everything's okay. It was just my dad. I already lost, the person that I truly love. The pains. Nothing is comparable to that, really. There isn't. And it's just, yep, thanks for coming, cheers, have a good one. And then as the final person comes out, it's over, and he walks away. And I think in that moment, it dawned on her, she's standing there watching him walk away, in more than one way. And this kind of goes for the sentiment of women love damaged men. At least some do. Here where you got this damaged man, she can see that he's suffering. Now he's lost his dad. She enjoyed his company as well when she was taking care of his dad. That she is going to lose him. There's not going to be any more time to spend with one another. These Groundhog Day moments of enjoying one another are gone and whatnot. And you could also maybe even tell, maybe for a glimpse, that this man, the way he carries himself, the whole 9 yards, is going to go home, and especially figuring the past and the honesty about that and the whole 9 yards, he may go home and take his life. And he went home, and he was sitting there, and these memories, as a person who has them very vividly, for me, it's not video recordings, it's My brain records everything, unfortunately. It's kind of like the meme where you'll be sitting in bed trying to go to bed and you'll be right as rain and you'll be going and your brain just, hello? Hi. Want to think about one of the moments where you were truly happy and yet it's going to make you really sad and your brain plays it. And so he has these memories and he's sitting there and his wife's on the computer screen and she's gone and she talks a little bit and she says good night. And they referred to this before where he would dial her up and he wouldn't say anything. And she wouldn't go to bed until he said good night. And he would dial her up and dial her up and finally he would say good night back to her. And so she says good night. She goes, I can't go if you don't say good night. And so he says good night. And his hand hits the couch and he hears the sleeping pills. The pills he originally intended to take his life with. He had kept them there the whole time. And he popped the cap, poured them into his hand. The dog was whining, it was crying, it was barking, and his dad, the loss of his dad. It was grief and daily living and depression and anxiety. Even the smallest thing can be just enough to push you right over the ledge. It can be enough to where the cable's cut. You're going forward. Nothing's holding you back. And then the good moments, the good things, people jumping into the moment. And for him, the distractions in the past, the dog, the door buzzer, the things like that were just enough to pull him back. But this time, the dog wasn't. And he was, I could feel it. I really could feel it. Is the pills in your hand. He's ready to just chuck them. And trust me, man, can I feel it. And he wanted to go goodnight with his wife. He wanted to truly go goodnight. And the buzzer was just enough to pull him out. Just enough. And he goes to the door, pill still in his hand. And there she stands. And she goes, Groundhog Day is good enough for me. And he lets her in and cue scene, end of season, puts his pills in his pocket. And to me, again, if there's no season 3 and that ended right then and there, beautiful, even though I want more, because I feel like there is more. And here's why I say that. As a person who suffers. So let's just say right now I'm in his shoes. And I'm in his shoes. And something I hope for is to find someone for me. Someone that I truly love. Someone that I want in my life, right? Season 3 would be about moving on. You still wouldn't forget her, but you would make new memories with that person. And in a way, it kind of, we as humans, right? We've always lived under this assumption that you're only supposed to have one mate, and you're only supposed to, that's it. You have one mate, and we always make this big thing, throughout television history and movies that, oh my God, Dad, it's so soon. Well, it's been a couple years. Yes, but it's so soon. Or Mom, it's been so soon, and it's only been a couple years or something. We used to make such a big deal about that, right? And somewhere along the line, we started transitioning, right, to this sense of, okay, it's okay, or I'll help you find someone or whatnot. To now, you should find someone. You should never be alone, or some sense like that. And throughout this entire series, from season 1 through 2, there's always these people who, one, some of them are really stupid, and this is where me and him really are comparable, in the sense of, I'm allergic to stupidity and ignorance, and so is he. Like the playing with the flutes and the nose and everything else. And then the 5 birthday cards. Wow, we're making such a big deal about this. And then that, well, my wife passed away a year ago, and there would be things comparable to where here he was getting birthday cards. He was celebrating his birthday. He was kind of moving on, but he still loved his wife. To the other one, the addict that was lost without the person, and they wanted to have enough money to push themselves to the edge, and they were enabled to. There was always things to show, where one person would go versus the other. And then even in one of the final column pieces for season 2 was him meeting a guy who was too afraid to love, that didn't want to love, didn't feel appreciated enough to love, and he was just a complete just waste of whatnot, because he was too afraid to love. He was too afraid to do anything, and yet it was just some of these people. Oh man, it's just, me and him would get along great, making fun of these people or whatnot, and yet looking at these people and just shaking our heads or whatnot. So we're really, comparable to what some of those moments are. But we are both gentle giants. We both have thick skin. We both have this. Throughout my entire life, because of my experiences, I've always wanted to help people, even though I was taken advantage of, hurt, the whole 9 yards. I still want to help other people. I still want to leave an impact, much like the person that loved me left an impact on me. He, throughout the story, through seasons 1 and 2, will do the same, where even the coworker who he just makes fun of all the time and whatnot, he just will nod and be like, "Cheers, mate." He'll just, you deserve the happiness, even though it's really silly how you all just, or the one girl who's in the corner with the glasses and is very just really weird, but she deserves her little happiness, and he went and saw the Kevin Hart magazine and put the picture of Kevin Hart in her snow globe, and at least made her happy for that moment, that little moment of happiness. And that's all people like me, and for instance him, or even Robin Williams. He even said that it completely drains me when I take on these serious roles, but it energizes me to listen and hear when I tell a joke or I make people laugh. It completely reinvigorates me, it regenerates me, it just keeps me going. And so, it's hard for people like me to completely be cut off. Even though I want to be cut off, I enjoy the silence. I enjoy the isolation and whatnot. It's other people that enable you to get out there, to make a difference, or even to be a miserable wanker, whatever. But to have those moments, because we have our moments to shine, and then we don't, and then, or who, what, when, where, whatever. But throughout the series, he continually does that. Is he'll care. He even saved the newspaper company, and he saved this other woman who always, every day, would sit on the bench, and he hooked her up with the guy who owned the newspaper company because he lost his spouse. And it was like, it just, we try, especially the damaged ones. I don't want to say everyone, but for a good chunk of the people that I've met, they try in their own way, and some of us do try and care about others. So for me, this really connected, again, on multiple levels. This season 1 and 2 completely connected on multiple levels, and again, it was a really good story. It's kind of like an introspective thing into me, at least a part of me, that I believe that's the correct word I'm going for. We're just gonna go with it. I'm thinking about 4 different things at the same time, also the elaboration of all this, so introspective, we'll go with it. Just to peer behind things and into the looking glass and whatever perspective you want to put it in. I feel like this was a really great show, and I just I have never connected this much to a show. I've never connected this much to a story. I've never connected this much to character. I've connected to other characters and stories, but not this much. So I gotta say, this was really well done. There are some things that aren't, but again, people handle grief, and it's shown, and that is the message. That is, if you were to take away one thing from this, grief is handled differently by everyone. It really is. Another thing I'd say to take away from this is to value each and every moment of your lives with those around you. Whether you be a grumpy person, a happy person, whatnot, value those moments. Value them. Cherish them. Love them. Do whatever you have to do to hold on to them. That's it. I could sit and talk about this for a while, especially not just about the story, but about all of it. But we're here for the review, and all I can say is it gets my seal of approval, which is not something I really give out. It's something that's amazing. It's something that I will probably watch again when I'm having moods. When you know, what, when, where, and why, I guess you could say. That's it. That's all I can say. I hope you all did enjoy the video. Let me know. Did you watch it? Did you feel how I feel, or at least understand it, or what? Let me know in the comment section below. Also consider sharing this video, sharing the channel. That's it. That's all I can say. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Peace.